Okay, this is a common problem with the 98 to 2002 Honda Accords. A lot of y'all will notice these buttons will stop working, the LED lights, or where it actually controls the mode of where it sends the air. You'll also notice on some Accords that the flap actuator to control from hot to cold will not work, or you won't have any air blowing out of your center vents. These are all common problems, and I think I figured out what it is. You can take this climate control module out of here, take it apart, and solder a wire on the back of it that'll correct some of those issues. After doing much research on this, the hot to cold side, the recirculation and or AC, these three are actually controlled by the flap actuator under the passenger side. Now, if you're having issues with just the mode control, where it goes, that's controlled by the flap actuator under the driver's side. That's located right under the dash by the gas pedal. You'll notice this flap actuator that has a couple of arms attached to it is this whole motor assembly right here with the green plug on it. Once you disconnect the green plug, you will need a 7mm ratchet. I used a flex head and or a small stubby Phillips screwdriver. With the flap actuator out, you'll notice there are clips around the outside holding this plastic assembly together. You can pry these clips apart like so and work the housing open with another flathead screwdriver around the outside. It's okay if you break a few. Screws are actually what hold the assembly up in the housing. I was having issues with both of my actuator motors. Once you get them apart, you'll notice there's a series of contacts underneath your gears. The other motor is very similar. You can remove the guide arm with a small flathead screwdriver, prying against this plastic tab, and then lifting it up off of the motor housing. With the gear out, you'll notice a series of contacts and a series of channels to direct power flow. What I did is I cleaned up all these contacts that are covered with grease by removing the grease and taking sandpaper and cleaning the contacts. Also, they become weak over time and they do not have as much tension on them. So I took them and I pried them back up, brought them back up to a higher level so that it made a better contact with the gear. The drive motor also has two contacts that slide into these two channels when the housing is reassembled. I cleaned up the edges of those contacts because I could notice that there was slight corrosion buildup on the edges. Make sure to take note that it sets on the inside groove. You see, one here and one here. It will fit in this one, but not too well. So we'll need it on the inside of that groove to fit inside of the housing on this inside groove as well. Now, these positive and negative contacts for the windings actually need to be kind of pried up, if you notice, just slightly. Not a whole lot. Just about like so. And that will help make contact better when you put the assembly back together in reverse order. Reassemble the arm. I actually like to test fit it. Plug it into the green plug before you reinstall it to make sure that this is contact cleaning has corrected the issue. You'll notice with the key on the on position, when I rotate from cold to hot, the motor actuates. Hot to cold, all controlled with this motor. All your modes controlled with this motor. Well, I hope this video helps you better understand the controls, the flap actuators, and how they work. Once again, hot to cold is actually controlled by the flap actuator under the passenger side and your recirculation. Now all the modes where it goes, center vents, outside vents, floor defrost, that is controlled by the flap actuator under the driver's side by the gas pedal. Both motors are very similar. One's kind of the mirror image of the other when you take it apart, but cleaning up those contacts and reapplying pressure should get you back in business. Now if you're having problems with the LED lights, I'll show you where and how to correct that issue with soldering a wire on the back side of the climate control panel. Thanks again for watching.